Hello, good afternoon, good evening, welcome. I was casually peering into a Word document, and suddenly the show had started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to you wherever you may be, and welcome to this Stream of Bloods, Something Wicked, a 4-part Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay adventure. And this is our final part. This is part 4. It's been a real spooky ride so far, and I tell you what, it's Halloween, baby, or Hexensnacht in the world of Warhammer. And if you think it's been spooky so far, get ready. It is going to be real spooky this time. So spooky, you may never leave. No, you will. It's about 2 hours long, so you'll have plenty of time to get on with whatever else it is you want to do today. Don't you worry about that. Listen. There's not much to talk about at the top of the show. We will do a little recap once the players join us, but why don't I just bring them in and we can get this party on the road. So please welcome, first of all, playing Smilar Balloom, a, let's be honest, witch-crazed and hunger-crazed woodsman. Please welcome Mr. Phil Walker.
You call it witch craze and hunger craze. I call it the Hunger Games.
Yeah, very true.
I actually considered, like, just since it's the last one, when you tuned in, just to be like this, like, what?
I had thought about texting everybody during the week and being like, what if we all got like in a fun Halloween costume? And then I just was like, you're already stealing enough of people's Saturday mornings without forcing them to get dressed up.
I would have done it. I have a space cowboy costume. Come on.
Oh, well, look, I tell you what, who knows? Maybe we can all jump back on. Oh, look, here is Secret Keeper Clint, just for a split second in his slightly adorable skeleton costume.
He's haunting the back room.
During this period, as we speak, Ross and Gil are backstage, and they have the time to get into a costume if they want, but they better be real quick because I'm about to bring them both in. So next up, playing Lorenz von Eberhard, the slight but intense witch hunter. Please welcome Mr. Ross Bryant.
Oh, God, I didn't have time to cobble together a proper Witchfinder costume. It's like,
I gave you all of 9 seconds to put one together, Ross. And
I would have tried to do some Lorenz cosplay, but my giant Vampire Hunter D Witch Hunter hat is in storage.
Sure.
I feel like you need a unit just for the hat.
It is that big. It is that big. And just to give her plenty of warning that here I am, I've moved on to her just in case she's decided to change her outfit. I think it's unlikely. Please welcome playing Marigold Branch Stepper, Gillian Jacobs.
Joke's on you. I was already wearing a cat sweater.
Yeah,
Joke, as ever, joke is on us. And I'm so delighted because we spoke earlier and I hadn't noticed you were wearing a cat jumper. I think you were sitting down for. So, of course, you get 1,000 XP just to start things off for having done the unspoken costume challenge.
Right.
Guys,
the uninformed mandatory.
Yeah.
Never mentioned
homework.
Yeah, the prize mandatory.
Very capricious master. I like you guys to kind of preempt my ideas, and then I get furious if you haven't done that.
Right. We're supposed to hear you when you're thinking it in your head and decide not to do it.
Yes, and not even on screen, not even when we're together, just in my home during the week, just being like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. Yes, guys, welcome. Thank you so much, as ever, for being here, for giving up your Halloween morning. I know we all wanted to be, busy putting razor blades into our sweets or whatever it is, whatever spooky, terrible things that people do at Halloween. Spiking the punch. Is that, do you drink punch at Halloween? I don't think so.
Yes, like in parties at school or something like that.
Right. Well, thank you for giving up the precious time that you could be spending doing any of these dastardly Halloween activities, instead spending it here with me. This is part 4. We've come a long way since first our 3 plucky heroes stepped out on the road to Grenmarkt in pursuit of Bruno Faltz, the butcher of Brunstadt. You guys, in the company of Franziska Kessler, made your inquiries in Grenmarkt. We all remember her. She's long dead now.
We left a real trail of allies along the way.
Yeah.
You truly have.
Yet we remain unscathed.
Yes, the triple Jonas that you guys are, just well known for making friends with people and having them immediately die. You followed the leads that you had in pursuit of Bruno Pfalz. They led you to Grenmarkt. They led you to the Burgermeister and the remaining road warden in town. They both told you that Pfalz had passed through Grenmarkt and made his way up the mountain pass into the valley of Stolzenberg in the company of 2 young tearaways. Teen tearaways who had given up a life of pig bothering to become genuine troublemakers. And on making your way up the hill, you discovered that something was very wrong. Something was rotten in the state of Stolzenberg when you found that the large guardhouse that protected the entrance to the valley had been razed almost to the ground. The inhabitants murdered by beastmen, who in turn had been murdered by something even more powerful and terrible than them, and arranged in a terrible occult pattern. From there, you travelled, you geared up, you got yourself a nice halberd, Phil, which I'm sure you will get a chance to use today. I can only apologise that thus far it's been superseded by other items that you've picked up. But yeah, you made your way into the valley proper, where you met Little Horst Schäfer, who was a plucky lad of local origin who tried to scare you by pretending to be a ghost, and instead led you to his parents' house, where they revealed that the strange goings on in the valley had all started. There he is. The strange goings on had all started with the arrival of Graf Eric's new wife, Anna, who he had seen passing by in a carriage, and he had declared to be very beautiful, or words to that effect.
He looks a little bit like Mordred, right? Or is that just
little like who?
Mordred, like from King Arthur.
Oh, sure. He's got that little bowl cut.
Yeah.
For sure. But whereas Mordred is a dour and cruel figure, no one could accuse Little Horst Schäfer of being anything other than just an enthusiast at everything.
Full of pep and pluck, a real plucky urchin.
He loved Marigold too.
He was very keen on Marigold. Well, Marigold has cast a spell. We should say that.
It's true. Everyone loves Marigold.
We should. That's a good point. We should remind ourselves of who everybody is, really, because Lorenz is. I think it's fair to say is a. Well, how would you describe him?
Is it a willowy little fellow who is full to the brim and bursting with religious zeal and ready to burn any and all witches. And he's now convinced that the Gravine Anna von Stolzenberg is the source of all the evil that from this place doth flow. And he will put her on the wheel.
Sure. And Smiler, how would you describe yourself?
I think.
Oh yeah!
Oh my god!
Oh yeah!
There we go. This is a Ross Bryant original.
Ross, that's amazing!
I love this. Thank you so much.
I drew this a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
You even have her song.
Right.
Yes, it's amazing
How
that
do you
you've
remember all the lyrics?
incredibly accurately.
I have a gift.
Ross is a very
memory.
musical person.
Good recall. Yeah.
I did say that.
I love that. Thank you, Roz.
Here is a picture of our trio. I like the classic crazy staring eyes of Smilar Baloom. I mean,
going 2 different ways.
yeah. If you're looking off in different directions, you're a real bomb cake.
Smilar is as you can see from this from the drawing, he is a big member of the Eat the Witch movement. He comes from a hovel. And Smilar Baloom is looking for his cousin Helium Baloom. We did also last week flesh out his family tree, which includes Hotair Baloom and Water Baloom. The whole Baloom clan is a pack of them.
Yeah. And you, I believe, were in pursuit of Bruno Pfalz because you believed that your cousin had gone missing, perhaps Water or Hot Air, one of the two.
Helium.
It was helium, of course.
Helium is missing.
Yeah.
But we did find his whittles. We were in the church.
You saw some whittling that seems like it might be have been made with his knife.
That's correct.
And
so he's stoked
Marigold.
about that. Sorry.
Marigold, we know about your singing. What else is distinctive about Marigold Branchstepper, Wood Elf Spy?
Probably, I guess, when I think about myself, I think about taking poops in public. That's one thing that comes to mind.
Yes.
And then also, I am the possessor of the world's most powerful donkey.
Yes.
You are, yes, yeah, and we were gonna come to that. So I should say yes, just to introduce Ralph effectively into proceedings.
The breakout
you guys,
star of our
yes,
Character find of 2020 for sure.
Yeah, you left the cottage of the Schaefer family and headed off towards the chapel of St. Heinrich, where you were stalked by 3 werewolves, and just as things looked like they were going to get really nasty, well, they did get really nasty for Franziska Kessler. She was torn in half, of course, lest we forget. Pour one out, R.I.P. You were sort of rescued at the last minute by Felix Heiligmann, the chaplain of the chapel.
Also R.I.P.
Yeah, met a similar fate.
Also R.I.P. He was very effectively intimidated by Marigold, as I remember correctly. Who could forget the immortal interrogation line, "Tell me something you don't want me to know."
That's what they teach in the CIA, I think.
Yeah. Remains
Now
to
tell me
this day
something you don't want me to know.
Yeah, the single most effective way of interrogating anyone ever. You cut straight to the quick.
Oh.
And he did tell you that he had met Bruno Fouts. Bruno Fouts had been up there with his lads, and he had murdered his lads and arranged them in an occult pattern on the floor of the chapel. The werewolves were unable to enter the chapel because of the consecrated ground around it. But you realise that this foul symbol had deconsecrated the chapel itself. They pushed a tree over. They climbed into the chapel. They removed, this is a polite way of putting it, they removed the jaw of Felix Heiligmann. Then, in the most expensive CGI moment of this entire game, we watched 10,000 generations of donkeys of yore imbue Ralph with the spirit of the donkey, and Marigold leapt forward on his back, almost severing the head of Bruno Tauber, which is the name of the biggest werewolf. And you guys set about him. Lorenz shot him with the silver bullet that you had all claimed. I should have said you guys had picked up various items from the reliquary of St. Heinrich von Stolzenberg, who had been a great hero of the First Vampire War against Vlad von Karstein. And you set about these werewolves very effectively. And as they were on the back foot, Lorenz was able to destroy the sigil on the floor, which reconsecrated the chapel and destroyed the rest of the werewolves. They burnt away to ash, and their souls were freed at last. You then, Felix died, sadly, of his wounds. As does almost everybody that meets you guys. And
died of his one weakness, having his jaw torn off.
Yes. Very
His Achilles jaw.
Yeah.
His Achilles jaw.
Off it came, yes. And you guys then searched the chapel, and you found in Felix's cell, his kind of monk's cell, the register, which has the births, deaths, marriages for a lot of the people in the valley. And inside you found the marriage of Erich von Stolzenberg to Anna von Stolzenberg, and you saw that she was Anna née von Karstein. In an incredibly dramatic moment that, of course, understandably, none of you remembered the significance of the name von Karstein, because I had rushed it out earlier at a side when I was like, oh, it's going to be great when they realize that. And I was like, none of these people are as into the lore of Warhammer as you are, so you need to tell them this is important. And you guys look suitably blank, appropriately blank. Right, okay. But then we got there in the end, and we realized that yes, this was a vampire. Anna von Karstein is a scion of the von Karstein bloodline. Very bad, naughty vampire types. Yeah, you guys. That was where we left things. So, deep breath. Here we are in session 4.
Before we get the session started, I thought I had saved my stuff on my character sheet. I know I picked up the silver gauntlets. I forget what the other thing was.
Oh yeah, I didn't write anything down.
So that's okay. Don't worry, because
you got the shield, the flaming shield. I remember that.
Yeah, you get the.
I have a shield, and I feel like I got something earlier as well on a previous day. Didn't I get chain?
Yes, you have some armor.
Oh, yeah,
you have some chainmail. I think
mail stuff.
Yeah. So. Here's what I'll say. This is interesting because this is a good lesson for. Thank you. This is a good lesson for everyone watching. because you've not written anything down, I'm going to strip away all of those you can't have them. No, don't worry, I won't do that. What I'm going to say is, I think I can remember specifically what it is that you guys had. So, Smilar, you had the open face helm and gauntlets.
Right.
Marigold, you had picked up the shield, the silvered shield with the sharpened edge. Lorenz had the repeater pistol with silver bullets. In terms of what you guys had picked up previously, I think everybody had some chainmail, pretty much. Chainmail shirts and kind of coats and things like that. So I can remember what that means, essentially. So don't worry too much about it on your sheet, because usually it's me that's calculating how much damage you guys take and stuff. So I can remind you about what you've got as and when, because I have got it marked down. Yes, in addition to that, what I will say is that, so here's where we'll start. Like, you guys are back in the chapel, and we'll just have a brief interlude here before we commence today's adventure proper, because there was more stuff that he had that you found. Like, the idea was, because the wolves were like jumping through the window, you didn't have full time to put on like a full set of plate armor, but there is a breastplate, and there are sabatons here. So someone can put on a breastplate, a silvered breastplate that will give you further armor, and someone can put on some metal trousers, which is effectively what sabatons are.
Gotcha.
I have a question.
Yes.
How effective is my chainmail versus having a breastplate?
So breastplate is more effective. Chainmail, I think, gives you +2 armor, and I can check that right now. A breastplate gives you +3. Now, the interesting thing is you can put a breastplate over chainmail.
Ooh.
Because it is, like Knights of Yore, you can wear kind of layers of stuff. And I think you can put breastplate over chainmail. You can certainly put it over leather stuff. Where are we? Here we go.
Should we roll to see who gets it, to be fair?
Sure.
Cast lots for the stuff.
Yeah. All right. Why doesn't everyone roll a d10 and we'll see who rolls the highest?
Well, 2, so I didn't win.
Well, I got a 1.
I got a 10.
Okay. Well, it looks like Lorenz von Eberhardt is going to get the breastplate. So will you add that to your sheet, Ross? Okay. I will put it on my sheet here.
Alrighty.
So I think you're.
Does that go under my trappings or armor?
It will go into your armor, and then on your character sheet there is a kind of little figurative drawing of you with different bits and pieces. So on your chest area you should write 5, because I think you have a chainmail shirt with a breastplate over the top of it.
Okay.
Lovely. Yes. So.
Pants.
I think we're ready.
Pants.
Oh, of course, the sabatons. I'm sorry. Yes, roll for the pants.
Roll for pants.
I'll
Yeah, abstaining.
Okay, yeah, I think that's only fair. It's between the elf and the woodsman.
I got an 8.
I got a 4.
Woo!
I have the helmet, so I think that's and the gloves too. So I think that's
What
fair.
I like
should
now
have
is
opted
that
out.
you guys are a very good patchwork of armor.
Together.
Marigold's got very heavily armored legs and a lightly armored torso. So yes, yeah, you guys can sort of assemble like Voltron.
Well,
you can
I
all like
should put
attach.
the shield instead of my chest.
Right,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
You have got the big shield as well. So yeah, you're pretty well protected, Marigold.
And I'm a hardy boy. I think I have a pretty high hit point ratio.
You are
too.
an Ed Hardy boy, certainly. You wear a T-shirt with a big rose and a sort of weird skull and writing on it. Yes, okay, so let's see. You guys spent the night, I believe we said, in the chapel, right? So the day is dawning. And it is the day of days. It is Hexensnacht. You guys know that this is the day where bad things happen. This is
It depends on whose perspective it's from.
Oh, good
Sure.
victuals. Yeah.
yes, there's
it's
good
good
eating. There's good eating. But yeah, you guys, ordinarily you would spend Hexensnacht nailed into a basement somewhere as a form of defense.
Oh.
Yeah. As in you would choose to be, you would nail yourself into a basement somewhere. to stay safe from whatever it is that will be abroad this night. But you guys don't have that option. And you feel as though you have been drawn forward this entire time in your pursuit of Bruno Faltz. Lorenz, in particular, you feel as though you are... The whole night through, you guys had cast your eyes out of the window and seen far off in the distance Schloss von Stolzenberg. And waking today, you feel this like low, almost throbbing pull towards the castle. And so... after breakfast, I think, would I be right in saying you guys set
Who
off
wants
in that
leftovers? I got dirty water turnip stew. There's enough for everybody.
Yes, I had forgotten about Smilar's truly appalling dinner he had made for you all. And I think Marigold and Lorenz are up early, like tying their packs to Ralph and Sebastian and whatever the names of the other two donkeys are, who thus far, unfortunately, have not been named. As Smilar is offering up a dose of... There's Ralph.
Oh, yes.
Yes. This
Turbo
has turned
dog.
into a sort of donkey simulator, really, more than specifically Warhammer Fantasy
We're
Roleplay.
baiting this role. We're baiting role-playing donkey game.
Yeah.
I'm just having this image of going into like Babbage's in 1992 and like Police Quest, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry. Oh, let's go for the donkey simulator.
Donkey Sim. Donk Sim and the DLC Mega Donk 2. Yes, so you guys set off on your plucky donkeys, pulling Sebastian along behind you. We made sure that he's still with you. Probably should have left him.
He was useless. Yeah.
He was useless. He did sit like a person though, and that was nice.
That was cute.
That was arguably. But yeah,
That saved his life from becoming sick, for sure.
Oh no, we shouldn't have left him with the Schaefers because Francisco Kessler was killed after you were with the Schaefers. But maybe along your way you'll find a happy home for Sebastian. But yeah, you make your way deeper into the valley, and could we get the valley map up again, perhaps, if that's possible, Secret Keeper Clint? But yeah, it's you make your way to the valley again. Steep-sided ravine, almost. To call it a valley is a sort of generous description, but you know that this is. Here we go.
Where are we?
So we actually the way this image is up has cut off the bottom of the image, which has the. Oh, here we go. There you are. So you were at the Chapel of St. Heinrich here.
And where are we trying to go?
To Schloss von Stolzenberg, which is Schloss Stolzenberg, which is over on the far right. But your journey takes you towards the town of Schniestadt. This is the one big kind of settlement up here. You had heard from Clara Schaefer, I think her name was, that Schniestadt is, you might have better luck finding somewhere for more information and more to discover in Schniestadt. And so after about an hour's travel, it's quite clear today. It's bright. It's very cold, but the sky is bright, and it's a little less. It seems everything. Your spirits are lifted. Everything seems a little less spooky. But as the morning goes on, once again, here comes the snow again, and clouds kind of settle over you. It's dark, and eventually you arrive in the outskirts of Schniestadt. And arriving there, you are immediately struck by this is a very this does not seem like a happy place. The kind of the buildings on the outskirts you go past, you see a lot of the doors are smashed in. There's no sign of life in here. Here you go. This is an image of Schniestadt as you arrive.
Oh, wow.
Even though it's mid-morning, it is like dark like this. And you see a few mangy dogs like this in front of you, and as you approach, they sort of gather around and look at you, but they obviously decide that you look like you can handle yourselves too well, and they sort of scurry back into the darkness.
They see Ralph and Marigold. They know it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, again, Ralph's transformation is palpable to the two of you that are riding along next to Marigold. You're like, you see that both your donkeys kind of like are trying to kind of copy Ralph a little bit. They're like moving in the same. They're in lockstep with him, and as he moves, you just see, you feel as though he has their lock clop. Yes, the lock clopping along, and that eye, that glorious eye. Yeah. So you feel that sense of command, and as you make your way into the town, it's like it's desolate. As you saw, there's kind of just a body hanging off the one of the sails of the windmill, and there are signs of this like refuse in the street everywhere, and this place that you don't know what it was like in the old times, but you're pretty sure it's hit a very, very rough patch in its existence. And as you make your way further in, eventually you see a light. You see a sign of life coming out of the window of a tavern ahead of you. So everybody give me a perception roll, please, at a +20. First roll of the day. We're
32.
Okay, how does that go against your normal perception?
It's 55 plus 20, so it would be 75, and I rolled a 32.
Great, so you succeeded by 4 levels. How did Lorenz and Smilar do?
I rolled a 98, so I think Lorenz's hat has fallen over his eyes and he's just going in circles, maybe.
Yes, certainly. I think Lorenz, you became fixated on this sort of strange shape that was sitting in a doorway. And you were like, what's that? Is that like trash bags or something? And then as you look, like a rat like pops out of like a corpse's mouth, and, like the head like tipples off to the side, and you're shaken a little bit. So I'm going to say you're going to be at a -10 to any kind of fellowship or charm or like sight, or you're rattled a bit.
You're punishing this week.
But that's what happens if you critically fail. You're supposed to. I mean, there's supposed to be some kind of punishment.
He's like, "It's not me, dude.
It's
the rules, dude."
Yeah, sorry. God damn it! This is it. It's like you're badgering the referee. Like
don't blame the player. Blame the game. That's Hump's argument this week.
Yes, Phil. What's your what was yours like?
To the surprise of no one, I rolled a 63. I should have gotten a 50. I feel like I don't know if I've succeeded in a perception roll this campaign.
Very unperceptive, Smiler. Very, very.
He's just thinking about all those witches he's gonna eat tonight.
Yes, yeah. That the strange beef is calling to him from his backpack. It's like, well, any minute now, I'm gonna get away from these guys. Have a delicious strange beefsteak. So, Marigold, you hear you can hear voices like muttering in like a sort of a fierce kind of semi-whispered debate is going on through the windows of this tavern. And as you get closer, you see the sign of the tavern, and it is the Orc's Head.
Ooh,
there
cool.
you go. And what do you guys want to do? Do you want to go? You initially, how do you feel? Do you want to investigate this place?
What if we were like, well, you made the art, so let's keep moving?
Do you know what? That would be fine. I would allow it. I mean, because I didn't draw it. So poor Will Potoff, who's done amazing work for this. He would maybe be slightly disappointed, but
I guess we should go in.
Yeah, let's go in.
Right, gentlemen? All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get in there.
Okay, so you tie up your donks outside, and there's like a sort of hitching post, where you can tie up donkeys and things.
I don't feel good about this. What if someone tries to steal Ralph while I'm in there?
Do you want to ride Ralph into
Yes.
the attack? Of course. How foolish of me. Well, we established last time that your incredible riding ability allows you to kind of rotate on Ralph, so you can ride in like underneath him and then right yourself when you've got through the
Stoop under the amazing donkey trick rider.
Okay, well, Ralph and Marigold clop their way into the inn. Smilar and Lorenz, do you want to try and ride your donkeys into the inn?
Nah, it's okay. I hate Sebastian, and my other one, the one I actually have, Siegfried. He's probably sucks too.
Good to know.
Siegfried. I'll also tie up Bruce outside.
Very good. Okay. You enter into the inn, and immediately the conversation falls silent. Inside there is a group of men. I mean, obviously conversation falls silent. Under the best of circumstances, a wood elf on a donkey riding into an inn is going to stop most conversation. But yeah, the men there all like kind of freeze and turn to look at you. It is extremely reminiscent of the slaughtered lamb scene from American Werewolf in London. If anybody has seen that movie, instantaneously, like just a series of like very unfriendly, very suspicious faces all turn towards you.
Oh, cool.
Oh
we
no!
go.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
And one of these guys has a knife with blood on it.
Yes. Yeah, and you see that he is actually preparing. He's not. There's no immediate appearance of anybody being dead. There is like he's just chopped the head off a chicken, basically that he's been prepping out here for some reason. They all stand there, and eventually the barman's like, "Could I help you?"
Yes.
Okay.
We're looking for an asshole named Bruce. You had any assholes named Bruce come in here with
Bruce? Didn't one of you say? Did I hear someone saying, "I'm going to tie you up here, Bruce," outside?
Yes, he was referring to my donkey.
All right.
Perhaps my friend Smiler, because we are looking for the somewhat similarly named Bruno.
Look, I'm ignorant. I'm not book smart. We established that last turn.
I've only just met you, but I understand. I will say that's two quite similar names, Bruce and Bruno. You don't mean Bruno Faltz, do you?
We do.
The butcher of Brunstadt.
The butcher himself. We have tracked him to these realms, and we seek him now.
So you see he looks around shiftily for about 2 or 3 solid minutes of silent dumb show. Yep, Gil, listen, I'm in charge. 2 or 3 solid minutes, they just go... And the camera cuts from weird person to weird person in the inn as they all pass the look around each other.
I roll and evaluate.
You can roll and evaluate. Evaluate is what? Now, what is it? Do you want intuition-y type stuff? Is that what you mean? You want to sort of
I just want to see if I can get a sense of why everyone's so nervous, or if there's anything.
That's more. Yeah. So that's a great idea. That is more of an intuition roll. Okay. Evaluate is like, how much is this thing worth?
Oh, okay.
Can I roll a charm?
Gil, you absolutely can roll a charm.
All right. At a plus what?
Let's see. Well, now this is interesting because I would ordinarily say, well, these people are very scared. They are very suspicious. They're worried. They don't like They probably didn't like strangers at the best of times because they are rural folk in the Warhammer world. And but you did just ride in on a donkey.
Just Warhammer. That's the only time.
Yes, Bill, I'm being very politic. We're 4 days out, everybody. We need to get as many people on our team as we can. I don't want to be a coastal elite being rude about.
Just tell
this
me
goes viral.
Voted for the one person and vote for the other person. That's all
Look,
I'm saying.
man, there's a chance we could flip Schniestadt, and we just need to do the ground game's got to be solid.
Yeah, I get it.
Listen, it's the down ballot race. If we can get the Burgermeister of Schniestadt, that's going to avoid gerrymandering.
It's going to go all the way up the rest of the ticket, you know?
Yeah, to the Graph. The Graph, that'll take care of itself. Anyway, but a little bit of politics, bit of fun there, gang. This clip could go viral. Just saying, we might change a few minds. So
we'll all either be heroes or cancelled. So whatever.
Yes, sorry. So Gil, anyway, to answer your question, you can. I'm going to say you can do it at a plus 20.
Yes, I can.
Can I do it at a plus?
Yes, you can. Yes, because I tell you what, you absolutely can, Spider, and here's why. Because they're all looking at the elf on the donkey, who just rolled really badly, I think, judging from her response. So yes, you can do it at a plus 20. What did you roll, Gil? Oh, that's just a 90. That's okay. So that's not a critical fail. I thought that was 100 for a second. So that's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's a garbage roll. But it's not a 96, which would mean that you tried to charm them all and, instantly kicked the most vulnerable looking one of them in the face with Ralph's hoof. As it is, you sort of like, hi boys, or whatever, hi fellas, or whatever the charming maneuver is, and
I take a dump.
You take a dump. Well, no, hang on. Just keep that in your locker because you said you were trying to charm them.
Yes.
Historically, that is not dumping in people's inn. So you can do that, but you're going to have to do that in a second if that's what you really want to do. Yes, Myla, how did you do with your intuition roll?
Actually, before I roll, can I actually have a different idea. Can I use a charm with a plus? And the reason I want to do a plus is I want to weaponize my ignorance because I'm from a hovel too. So like I'm ignorant rural folk just like these people are. So I might actually be
so that's a very good point because status is a big thing in this game. So Marigold as a wood elf does not necessarily get any bonuses to talk to these kind of people because they would be a bit suspicious of her. She's strange and different. But you are cut from similar cloth. You're wearing kind of clothes that they wear. You have a similar sort of rural accent that they would be familiar with. So yeah, I'll say you could do it at a plus 30.
Okay, whoa. Great.
Dope.
All right. I got a 40 I needed to get a 72. Perfect.
Great, that's 3 success levels. Now you were charming them, right?
I was charming them. I was like, "Hey guys, look, these guys are weirdos. I'm a real. What is this empire called?
Just the Empire. You're like
I'm
just
a real Empyrean.
or a Reiklander. You could say you're a Reiklander.
Like, ignore these guys. Let's just chat. Let's have real talk.
Okay. Well, as we said,
maybe
that was
we
pretty
retreat
successful.
to a corner so that he does better.
Let me see how
I'm
they
still
what they
wrinkled,
make
so
of you.
Lorenz just kind of drifts off to a corner, like peering at them.
Yeah. So they rolled quite well on their like fellowship score. So they're like, okay, that initially. You see, they relax a little bit when you come in because although you're strangers, like after your initial like, hey, it's me, I'm a Reichland boy, and they're like, well, that's not what any of the various foul denizens of the valley have said when they've carried off our friends and family. So these guys, maybe they're all right, and they kind of relax a little bit, and you see a couple of people in the corner go back to talking about something, and they're like. And they're muttering amongst themselves. But it remains there's not a jovial atmosphere in here. This is if we can get the picture back up again, you will see it's very much that vibe.
Can I make a roll to see if Lorenz recognizes any? I feel like at this point he's encountered 2 of these creepy dark sigils, and he wants to see if he sees anything like that, or maybe some like charms of any kind that any occultic.
Sure.
Artifacts
so give me a perception
symbols
roll.
Here.
Perception roll at a plus 20.
Ooh, I rolled an 18.
Very nice.
On
Okay,
a
so
40,
yes, what you
62.
see is telling in here. It's interesting. All of these guys, almost all of them have got a little necklace with like a hammer on it, or some of them have the twin-tailed comet symbol. So these guys, and over the lintel of the pub, there is like it carved into the kind of doorway. There are a ton of like Sigmarite symbols.
Yes, true believers.
Yeah, your impression is that the people in here like maybe have been protected or have banded together in some kind of protective vibe because they are all true believers and they have been assiduous in their devotions to Father Sigmar.
So I find the friendliest looking person that looks like me, because I'm from a hovel. And I go up to him, like, I try to chat this person up with using my charm. It's like, so why is everyone so on edge here?
So the guy is like, he kind of looks around. He's like, you're new around here, aren't you? You're not from the valley. Everything's changed. This used to be a good place to live. The Graffy was hard, sure, but he was a fair master. He always made sure that we had enough stores in the winter time and the harvest festival. Oh, those days are long gone now. Ever since the Gravine came here, Anna von Stolzenberg. She's bad news, I tell you. All the Graf's loyal men have been driven out, replaced by her loyalists. They've been taking kids up to the castle. They've never come back.
I begin to sing.
Nice.
Oh, well, give me a sing roll then, please, Gil.
All right. I don't know if even that. What do I have to? What's my singing?
You've got on your sheet. You have entertain, sing.
Okay.
Now, because these guys have been starved of entertainment, starved of music, and you're this mysterious figure, you can roll your entertain, sing at a plus 20.
All right.
Oh, she's on a donkey, which is also pretty entertaining too.
Maybe I stand on the donkey's back.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Yes! I got a 10.
Yes.
Whoa!
Wow. So yeah, you climb up on you spring out of your stirrups in a display of incredible athleticism and like hop up onto the saddle. Light as a feather. This is what elves are like. They can sort of walk on branches. They can walk on snow and not leave a trail. And you begin to sing. So beneath you, Ralph starts to kind of like he almost he's like clopping in time.
Dressage around.
Yes.
He's
He's like clopping his hooves. Yeah. Absolutely, there she is. And it has its customary effect. The denizens of the inn, again, like many of these things, it's sort of each of them it's like a delicious hot chocolate is going down their throats and is warming them from the inside. It's going in their ears and down their throats and warming from the inside. And they feel stronger and bolder and more able to face the coming horror. So yes, meanwhile, so Lawrence, is there anything? Do you want to talk to anybody while this is going on, or are you going to leave this to your partner?
All right. Well, it seems like okay. So all clues are pointing towards perhaps the theory that Lorenz is working out is that Anna the Gravine is obviously some font of evil. And she's drawing evil to her, building some sort of army of fell beasts. And Bruno Feltz is one of the creatures of darkness that she is seeking to ally with. I maybe go up to look to see which one of these folks seems maybe the most has the least dirt on him. Because Lorenz is, after all, a little bit like semi-noble. So
yes. So you spot. Okay. So in the corner, you spot one guy. He's got tiny little like medieval style glasses. He looks a bit
literate,
little clerky type person, little clerky sort of fellow. And one of the reasons why you notice him is that like he's definitely like loves Marigold's show. Who could
exactly? There's been a perceptible benefit to my singing.
Yes. Oh, yes. Everyone's
assuredly.
softened up.
Yes.
Assuredly. But what's telling is that the 15, half dozen, the dozen or 15 odd folk that are in this inn, 14 of them are doing their "We Love Marigold" faces. But this one guy is doing that, but also every now and then he keeps like looking out the one sort of grimy, low, almost glassless window. It's like there's a kind of wooden block where sort of some bricks have been taken out, and you can look through it. And Lorenz, as you angle yourself to see what he can see, you can see that he sees he's looking at the castle through the window. He can see the castle that is like up there. It's just kind of visible, poking above. There's like a wall of mountain almost, and then you can see the castle because there it is. The valley kind of swoops around another turn before you can get to the castle. But he is looking at it and he's kind of muttering something to himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I approach him, and on the way, do I hear what he's muttering?
Give me a perception roll.
Oh.
At a +20.
Ooh, I rolled a 17.
Nice.
That's lucky, actually. I should have given you just a straight perception roll because, of course, you are also entranced by the beautiful singing of Marigold. Like you are not inured to its charms. You, as you approach, yes, you hear him saying like, he's like, the music, so beautiful and yet so awful.
What?
And as you approach him, he feels your tread, and he turns and looks up at you, and you see that he is racked by some terrible distress. And he looks at you for a moment, and then he's like, "You've heard it too. The song. The dark song. You've heard it too."
Yes, my friend. I have heard it too. And it takes great strength within and prayer to suppress what it calls you to perform. Where was it that you heard?
The hammer symbol behind that he has around his neck.
I do the same. Where was it that you first heard these blasphemous hymns?
Well, it was here in the valley. In my job, I used to work for the Graf, keeping his books and that. The head steward, he was the main bookkeeper, but I always had a head for numbers, and so I had a job up at the castle, a good job, mind. But when she came, all of those that were loyal to him were thrown out. There's many a good man in this valley that would still answer the call if only the Graf would call us out. But he's under a spell. And I too have heard that call that speaks to the hunger deep within men. The darkness. It calls to let it out.
This is why we must be penitent. Purge the flesh, for it is weak. Only the spirit can control.
I am. And he pulls back the robe of his sleeve, and you see there's just a crisscross of burns and cuts and marks where he has clearly been damaging himself in an attempt to purge some darkness within himself.
And Lorenz is like, good. So you have worked then in the castle upon the hill.
That's
if
right.
one was to attempt to enter there without being noticed, would you? I suppose someone who has spent a great deal of time within its walls might know a strategy of ingress.
Oh, I can tell you. You can just walk straight through the front door. There's no guards on the gate. There's nothing. It barely functions anymore. Instead, it's just a cesspool of darkness and lust and disgusting sexual perversion that I can barely even talk about. I mean, it's... Oh, excuse me. He just grabs the candle off the table and burns it into his arm. Anyway, where was I? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's terrible up there. I tell you, they're all doing all sorts of sexy stuff. Oh, no, it's happening again.
Yes. Push down those desires.
I'm trying so hard.
You've got to take it one day at a time. All right.
Okay. Listen, that was it. She's turned that place into nothing more than a midden heap. Just a hellscape of disgusting foulness, which has attracted every fly-blown horror from the countryside around. She's turned them into things, creatures. What she did to the Talbot brothers. You can scarcely imagine they were three of the bravest fellas this valley's ever produced. She's turned them into ravening monsters, and now they wander the land. Huh?
I don't need to imagine. I've seen it.
Huh? And yet you live to tell the tale. How's it possible?
Let's just say those who walk in the grace of a higher power need not have such mortal fears as those who tremble upon the earth. Keep to your prayers and stay inside on Hexensnacht.
Yeah, we were just about to nail ourselves into the basement.
Just talking across the board to Ross, not Lawrence. You should burn this dude just to make him feel better. He'd probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not to death, but just
It's I'm looking at I have some instruments of torture that might come in handy for these sorts of things, but it seems time is also of the essence. The night approaches. Before darkness falls, I would wish to be in this castle.
Well, you must be careful. They say that tonight is the night when she plans to bring all her plans to fulfillment.
I sashay up. I'm like, don't worry about that. We're going to take care of her and Bruno. So don't worry about it.
Bruce.
Bruno, whatever.
Okay. Bruno. No, it is Bruno.
We're going to take care of Bruno, too. We're going to take care of everybody.
I ask if anybody knows any useful spells.
Okay, so all of them immediately flick their eyes to Lorenz because he is a witch hunter and none of them are sanctioned magic casters. And they're all like,
Lorenz, step outside for a moment. And go. I think I heard Bruce calling for you. You better go check on your donkey.
Very well. I go outside and feed Bruce a handful of oats.
Anybody know any spells that might come in handy? Protection spells, flying spells? Go. You.
Yeah. Hello. I know a spell. What it is, right, is you get a frog, and if you mash it together with some frog spawn, and then you rub it on yourself, then you cannot get any diseases. And casting your eye around, you look at some of the other people in the inn, and they're kind of like, oh, no.
Somebody smarter. Do you know anyone who's ever defeated this lady? Has anyone ever come back alive? And what did they say they did?
Oh no. Nobody's ever defeated her. We've never seen anything like her in the valley before. I mean, I've read stories in the tales, vampires and that they're susceptible to stakes through the heart, silver weapons, being burnt. They don't like sunlight.
Okay.
They have to travel with a coffin full of their earth from their own homeland, or else they disappear. What else? If it's a space one, like if it's one of them Dracula 2099 or whatever it is, then there's different rules, but they basically relate back to the original Bram Stoker Dracula story. And the other people.
Let's get out of here. This is guys.
These guys suck. So before we go, though,
you suck.
I think. Hey, you think you're tougher than me? I brandish my halberd.
He's got a halberd. Everybody be cool.
All right, damn straight. So then I take my halberd and I smash the nearest wooden chair. I'm like, I'm taking this for stakes.
Oh, very nice.
That's smart.
Very nice.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm going to be back with a shitload of witches and we're going to eat good tonight.
You leave and they just all look around each other like, right, should we nail ourselves in the basement? Yes. Okay, great, let's go. And they all start picking up hammers and nails and things. So yeah, you guys know, you know what to do. You know what you got to do, baby.
Oh, I have a question for my friends. Would feeding a witch or a vampire beast man meat kill them? Do you think we should maybe rip up the beast man meat into little pellets so that we could poison them?
I'm with that.
Sure.
So it's
like,
yeah, I'll do anything.
Not part of the lore that I've ever known, but at this point, I'm open to possibilities. Sure.
I take my axe and I chop it up into little bite-sized pieces, serving sizes.
Some beef nuggets.
Strange beef. Yeah, okay. So
I have an idea, though, guys.
Yes.
Instead of charging front on in, why don't we... I'm having a rare good idea, guys. It happens every once in a while. Why don't we go and try and find her coffin and smash that shit, and then we don't even have to fight her.
A capital idea, my lord. Yes. Before night falls, we must destroy her in her keep.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, great. So you guys make your way, you remount your donks. It is still early in the day. It is dark because it is Hexensnacht and because the days are short here.
Do we get a speed roll because Ralph is leading and everyone's following suit? I bet Ralph is moving.
Oh, yeah. Why doesn't everyone give me a ride roll?
What are we aiming for?
Well, so it's basically just to see how successfully you run. It's basically to see if you make a speedy maneuver. So, Gil, you can roll at a plus 30 because you are atop the mightiest of donks.
And what is this?
Other two can do it. Actually, you can do it at plus 40. They can do it at plus 20. Sorry.
What am I looking at?
So you're looking at ride on your sheet, which is in the
middle
what do I
row. Have? Plus what?
You're at a plus 40, I think I just said, didn't I? Because the others are at plus 20. So you are trying to get under 77.
I didn't make it. I rolled an 80, so.
I rolled a 99.
Guess what? I got a 3.
Holy shit.
Do these cancel each other out?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
I'll
we're
see
all
you guys.
Do I just fall off
Yeah.
Bruce and get dragged behind Ralph?
This is exactly what happens. Is that Ralph, rears up, and Marigold sets off at high speed. Smilar cannot get his donkey to what was your donkey called again? Siegfried. Siegfried will not move. You're kicking his flanks, and he's just like standing there looking furious. In fact, what you see is that he's spotted himself in a puddle, and is now furious at this strange 2D donk that is hiding in a hole in the ground, and is like braying furiously at it as it brays back at him. Meanwhile, yes, as you just said, Lorenz, your donkey Bruce also takes off, but you fall from the saddle and you're dragged behind your donk for a considerable distance. And the upshot of this is twofold. One, Marigold just vanishes basically around the corner up ahead. Smiler is stuck where he is, and Lorenz, I'm going to say that let's see what happens. Let's see. I'm going to look on a table to see what like a falling off your horse table, because I'm pretty sure there is such a thing here in the books. Animals and vehicles. Let's go here and see what happens when you fall. Yes, did you have a question, Marigold?
Nope.
Oh, fair enough.
That was a little song.
Oh, it's one of her many glorious songs.
Jaunty tune.
So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. Let's just say I'm going to roll a D3. You're going to take D3 damage for falling off your donkey and being dragged through the streets with no armor save. So that is 2. You take 2 wounds.
Okay.
As you're dragged through the slushy, cold snow. And the upshot of this is that you guys are not going to race up to the castle. You're going to make your way up to the castle relatively slowly. And the upshot of that is that I think you guys are going to arrive up at the castle. You hove into view. Here's what happens. Try and be more poetic about this. The day waxes full. You have eaten a frugal and meager lunch on saddleback as you made your way up the valley. Some dried sausage, some very old Kaiser cheese, and you have eventually made your way through the winding depths of the valley again. All around you is silence, just the sort of crunch, that strange crunch of hooves in fresh snow as the donks have pushed their way through. And eventually you reach a turn in the valley, and as you come around the corner, there ahead of you is Schloss von Stolzenberg. It is high up on a rocky outcrop that sits kind of in the middle of the valley up ahead. Behind it, you can see far in the distance there's kind of a waterfall and a decent-sized lake and some standing stones. But there's this amazing kind of fortified hilltop castle. And as you have made your way along, you have seen on either side of the road, here and there again, more smashed and burnt cottages, more signs of destruction and desecration and disease almost. You've seen some blighted in the fields. There are pumpkins that have clearly gone unharvested, that are blighted by some kind of disgusting disease, and that's turned them to kind of mush. At some point, one of the donks, Sebastian, uncontrolled by anyone, has wandered into one of the fields and gone to try and take a bite out of one of these things, and then recoiled donkey style at the last minute when he's seen how gross and they smell wrong. This is a place of corruption and decay, and up ahead of you is a causeway that kind of leads up to the castle. It is a, one of those kind of ramps almost made out of like compacted earth, and then with a cobblestone road built over the top of it, and way up ahead of you, almost like a giant mouth with teeth, is the open kind of portcullis at the front of the castle. But Gil.
Where am I?
You have you have been caught up by the others. I should have said that after your initial thing where you kind of set off and you were left to your own devices, you realised after a while, as the wind blew your hair back and you felt alive with the thrill of donkey riding. You felt a connection to Ralph and to the earth itself. You cast a look over your shoulder and were like, where are those idiots? And doubled back to collect them.
All right.
Ralph, in a way, gave a stern sort of donkey talking to the other two. That's how you kind of got everyone. He snapped his donkey fingers, metaphorically speaking. He clopped his hooves together, and the others fell in line eventually. So yes, ahead of you is this thing, and it is like behind the castle. Although it is now probably 4 p.m, and it is getting dark. Rising behind the castle, you see Manslieb, which is one of the twin moons, and away to the other side you see the green Morslieb, which is the greenish-hued second moon of this world. And you know that this is. Hexensnacht is the one night of the year when both of these moons are full in the sky at the same time. And that is part of the process whereby the walls between the world of the living and the dead are made thin. So, yeah. What do you guys want to do?
I guess we should enter Castle Grayskull, right?
Sure.
I want to do whatever is the smartest, best thing.
Very clever. Once again, Gil has cut to the very heart of what needs to be done here. Yeah. Very clever. I see what you've done there. You've put me in a bind because now I have to have you do that. Well, you were told by the Clarky type fellow in the Orc's Head that there is no guard here. There is just like safe in her hilltop fastness. Anna von Karstein has no need for a guard on the door because the cowed and beaten folk of the valley, who she views as little more than cattle, she has no fear of them. None can touch her here, she thinks, but she does not know, perhaps, of the existence of 3 wily, proud, strong adventurers who are going to come and settle her hash. So as you approach, you see no sign of life from the castle. You see very little... Now,
can I roll let's see what skills I have here. I'll try a perception roll. Maybe this one will take. I don't see any life, but we do we see anything? Do I perceiving like any sort of like unlife? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, nice
that's stuff.
So you give me a perception roll. At a plus 20.
Guess what, friends? I also see really well in the dark.
You do see really well in the dark.
I got it. So it's a 50, and then I rolled a 34.
Yeah. Great. So you see, with your accurate perception roll, you give lie to what I just told you, because you do see some life up ahead of you. As you approach the causeway, you start to see along it there are these sort of what you had at a distance taken to be maybe kind of elaborate ironwork railings going up this causeway in some way.
Don't tell me they're snakes.
They are, Gil, good news. They are not snakes. Instead, what you see are stakes. Not snakes, but stakes with a T. And on the stakes, impaled on the stakes on the way up, are a series of figures in the livery of Stolzenberg, the white and blue colours of Stolzenberg, as you've seen. And give me an intelligence roll, everybody, at a plus 30, because this is...
Plus 30?
60.
Where's my intelligence?
Is
that in the basics? Oh, that's in the...
It is in your characteristics.
It's the eye?
26
the INT.
INT, and at a plus what?
At a plus 20, I think I said,
Okay.
didn't
I? Nope.
I rolled a 43 on a 55.
Great.
I
And
rolled-
Smiler, how did you do?
I rolled a 98.
Oh,
Not smart.
Yeah, what did you roll?
An 81.
Okay, that's okay. So 98.
I told you,
98 on
not
an
book smart.
intelligence roll. Yeah. Okay, so what happens is Smiler's he's like, we've got to get these guys down. Maybe they can help us. Like, they're like, and like spikes coming out of their mouths and like black blood everywhere. Yeah, Lorenz holds up a hand, puts a hand on your shoulders, and
Noble are your thoughts, but perhaps misplaced. Spirits have fled these bodies.
yeah. And what Lorenz has realized, this intelligence roll, is that this looks like the kind of the garrison of Schloss Stolzenberg. These look like the troops that garrisoned this castle, and are the ones that have, in session 1, unbelievable callback. You're right, guys. In session 1, you heard about how the you heard about
From downtown.
Sports thing.
sports thing. You
Nothing but net.
yes, you had heard from that first family you spoke to that the local towns, the rise of the beastmen, the rise of the goblins and the greenskins of the forests around have been attributed to the lack of activity from the garrison of Schloss Stolzenberg. And here you see why, because they appear to have been staked. And there's maybe 100 men staked out on this causeway, and around
Jesus.
them, sitting on them, all around them, there are crows and ravens and birds and things pecking away at exposed faces and bits and pieces.
Griffins, perhaps.
There's no griffins, Gil. I'm sorry to be a buzzkill.
Phoenixes?
No, sorry, no
love
phoenixes either.
They're just like pigeons.
Yes, yeah. You shoo. I should have said that as you were making your way out of Grimdark, you saw lots of people with brooms, like trying to knock these huge lions with eagles' faces and wings that are the size of a small car. Like, get out of it! And they're like, ah!
I want to do.
God.
I want to ask one more before I do that. Is a small. I know because we do have to finish this before when we're prone to white rabbit chases. But one of my favorite things about Japan is that like there are just so many crows and they're like pigeons and they're just these gigantic crows that just walk
huge.
next. They're huge and they like are used to people, so they're literally just like pigeons. But
I will say.
Wow.
One of the most mind-blowing things that I've ever experienced was going to Alaska to visit my brother-in-law who lives in Juneau, Alaska, and there they have bald eagles that are like pigeons.
Wow.
So you literally go into the supermarket, you come out and there are 3 bald eagles on your car, and you're like, get out of it, and they're like, "Bah!" And they all like flap up onto like the telegraph pole.
Yeah, and here you
But they're
patriotic
everywhere.
bastards. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are thousands of them. It's just
insane.
in Juneau.
Incredible.
It's great.
So my
Anyway.
question then is, what are these stakes made of? You said iron, correct?
They look like iron railings from a distance. They look like some kind of elaborate. You couldn't really see them. This is when they were very, very far away. But as you got closer, they are big wooden stakes.
Okay.
That have been driven into the ground, and then these people have been like basically plonked on them like cocktail sausages.
So,
I've
guys,
heard of them.
I still think we can save these guys, but maybe we should like pull out these stakes and use them against this vampire woman.
So these are big. They are like probably that thick, and 6 foot tall.
It would take all 3 of us.
You could
Carry
get it
one.
like a giant battering ram.
Yes.
And like
this is
charge
like
her.
a
Might be a bit
contractor
unwieldy.
project.
Yeah, you're going to need to get some fellas to come help you with that.
I think Lorenz is like, where would she is some sort of vampire, Gravine, this Anna the Impaler, but now if she is truly a hexed blood succubus who cannot stand the sight of the sun, would she not be in the lowest point of this castle?
I think you're right.
I don't know, because Humphrey isn't making any nodding motions.
I'm just trying to be.
I mean, can Lawrence make a lore roll to guide his choice
Yeah,
here
sure.
where to investigate first?
Absolutely. I tell you what. Before you even do that, everybody give me a cool roll.
Baby, I don't need to. Okay.
Keep it cool.
And you're just going to do it flat.
Okay.
86. Not it's working for me.
Okay.
26.
26. That sounds good.
77.
Okay. Very appropriate, guys.
I'm
sometimes the
superstitious,
rolls-
and he's a fanatic, so we didn't.
Sometimes
cool.
the rolls land just the way they should do, because there's an argument to be made that elves would be more likely to be resistant to this sort of thing than the two humans. Because first, Lorenz, you start to feel it. Again, you feel this pull, this draw, this like hunger is starting to take you over a little bit. This kind of, and it's a mixture of, I would say you are, I can't think of a worse way to put this, angry, horny. That is the vibe. There is
I'm a religious fanatic. That's the only kind of horny I am. now it's
tinged with a greater darkness, and you hear on the edges of your consciousness a song, like a dark, high, strange, piping, discordant music.
And it's not me for once.
And it is not Marigold by any means. And so, and Lorenz, you recognize it a little bit. You felt some sort of essence of this when you gazed upon the sigils. You heard a snippet of it when you were talking to that guy in the just now in the Orc's Head, and he spoke of the like dark and horrible music whilst looking towards the castle. And you know that this is in an instant. You know that this is the means by which Anna von Stolzenberg, née von Karstein, has been drawing all these people to her.
Her siren song.
It's her siren song indeed, Gil. And so, yeah, you know that if you follow that sensation that grows stronger,
Follow your boner.
Follow your angry, horrid boner. Then
a divining rod to.
Yep,
God.
very much so. And again, I should say, apologies to everyone watching this, just in general, as a base way of covering everything that's gone on over the last 3 sessions, and this halfway through the final session. So that you feel this darkness drawing you forward, and Marigold, I think it's fair to say you are. Give me an intuition roll, please.
All right, at a what?
Plus 20.
Thank you.
20.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Nuts. I got a 98.
So, Marigold, you look over at these two who are starting to get this like slightly feral, glassy-eyed, hungry expression.
I don't understand what's happening.
And you're
to
like,
them.
they're sleepy. The sleepy boys. The sleepy boys are sleepy again.
Can I roll a stealth roll?
You can roll a stealth roll. In fact, I think this is a good idea. Why doesn't everybody, if you guys want to, I think,
right.
not to railroad you, but I think if you guys are going to enter the castle, which I suspect you are, now would be a good time for everyone to start rolling some stealth.
Oh, shit.
Ah, man.
Me neither.
Are we rolling that plus anything?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, because, well, Lorenz, you are in chainmail and you have a plate armor thing.
I'm
you
covered
probably
in metal.
Wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So how did everyone do? Marigold.
83.
83. Lorenz.
I rolled a 32 on a 27.
Okay, so here's what I suggest. You
I
guys
start
all have,
screaming.
you guys have fortune points.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
roll
can
again.
re-roll.
All right, roll
I'm gonna
again.
cash mine in for sure.
Okay, I'll cash in a fortune.
I got a 94. I'm gonna cash one more in.
All right, this time I got a 51, and you said it was at a plus 20, so I actually made it this time.
Yeah, you're at
I
a
made
plus
it.
20, I would
12.
say. Great.
Woo!
I rolled a 37.
So here's what I'm going to say, because not least of all because you spent 2 fortune points, Phil. I'll say that because the group collectively has passed 2 out of 3 of you have passed a stealth roll. I will say that like as you make your way into the castle, Smilar catches his beloved halberd that he has still got strapped across his back for no clear reason against something that like pulls over a brazier of burnt out coals and ashes, and it makes a loud clang. But looking around, you don't see anyone respond to it. You make your way through the gatehouse. You're in the courtyard, and here again there is filth everywhere. It's kind of stacked up. It is not. It doesn't appear to be particularly well maintained. This betrays every sign of an organization and a building in decay and disuse. There's kind of bones scattered, like random bones. Some of it seems animal. Some of it you look at and you're like. Well, actually, none of you guys are probably that expert on the human skeleton because you are medieval types. But you maybe you've seen a skull. You know what that is. And so, you see a few human skulls, kind of greasy skulls, like scattered around the place. It's nasty. It's spooky.
Do I recognize any of the skulls? Does it look similar to the skull of perhaps Helium?
Give me a perception roll.
All right,
Bill.
I'm not going to use fortune points on this one.
No, you didn't do it. You can't be sure. You think maybe one of these skulls could be the skull of your cousin, but you cannot be sure. And you guys make your way inside, into the main keep. So now everybody, everybody give me a perception roll at a plus 20.
42. I made it.
I made it. I rolled a 2.
Wow.
78. I didn't make it.
Okay, so again, Smilar perhaps is really focusing on like trying to make sure his halberd like gets under the door frame without hitting anything else. It's a bit distracted. Yes, you've got your helmet on as well. Maybe that made it a bit hard.
Right, the helmet. Excuse me. Yes, I was thinking helm. Yes, you're correct.
Oh yeah, you've got your giant axe on a stick and your helmet, and you're perhaps a bit distracted. But the other 2 of you hear very well, and Lorenz. You hear very clearly in the distance a voice that sounds familiar to you. A voice you've heard before going, "Get off us! No, I'm not. You're not doing it to me. You think you're going to turn me into a monster? I'm not having it. Listen, you 2 are a bunch of pedophiles. That's what it is. You want to get off with me because I'm a boy."
Someone is attacking the forest urchin that aided us earlier.
You recognize the voice of Little Horst Schaefer. Mordred lookalike Little Horst Schaefer. Yes. He's here. He's in the castle somehow, and it sounds like he's being manhandled by somebody.
Well, he's being boy-handled, but yes.
Yes, exactly. Very good point. You guys kind of round a corner and dart back for a second because ahead of you is an open area that looks like a kind of courtroom. Not a courtroom, the throne room of a ducal court. And in front of you, you see the diminutive figure of Little Horst Schaefer, who is being held between 2 figures in kind of tattered Stolzenberg livery. But you notice that they've had like a kind of a black and red substance has been swiped in crosses on their backs.
I've learned. We just go straight up to their faces and wipe it off, and then they'll be disenchanted.
Well, that's not for me to say, but they are holding a struggling Horst Schaefer, and behind them. So you see them; they have their backs to you. You guys are kind of at the entrance, or you're like peeping around the corner, and you can see into the entrance. And he's like, "Brother, give it! Let me go! Give me a fair strike! I'll kill both of you, and you bitch!" And he's pointing up towards the throne, and seeing past him, you see this little tableau at the throne. There on the throne, sitting, is this diminished, sickly-looking figure, and standing next to him is a pale, red-lipped, dark-haired, vibrant figure, just like this. Once again, Will Potorff, God bless you for your wonderful art.
So good.
and you can safely assume that this is Eric, Graf von Stolzenberg, and the new Gravine, Anna. And he sits there kind of dejected and unmoving. And give me a perception roll, everybody. This is going to be a hard one, so I want you to perception roll at a plus nothing.
Well, guess what? I got a 10.
I got a 14.
Well, very good. Excellent.
72.
So, Lorenz, you are struck with horror at this scene. Like, oh no, like what is going to happen to poor little Horst? What do they plan for him?
Innocence despoiled. Do you not hear the music?
I told you she should have taken him with us.
And the music here, yes, is strong. Like you hear this discordant music, and only Lorenz and Smilar are hearing this terrible like music that's emanating from seemingly nowhere. Because what you see as you look is that there are scattered around the room many in states of disrepair instruments. There's like a harpsichord which is like with half the keys have been torn out of it, covered in dust. There's on his lap, Eric von Stolzenberg, there is like a lute that is broken in half, and on like around and about the place you see there's like a harp where the strings have been like slashed through, and it has this kind of sense of having once been a place of music and song and laughter and beauty, but instead now there's just this like dark, thrumming, evil, repetitive music that is starting to kind of like raise in volume. And Marigold.
Is perhaps the only thing that can counteract this music is my singing?
I mean, who's to say? I guess you'd have to try it and find out.
All right.
But before you have a chance to do that, just so you know, just so everything happens in the right order, because you guys are still like peering around this corner, right? And little go for it.
Yeah.
The little Horst is very good, very nice. Yep, ideal. Ross, are you going to do one? Yes. Yep. Yes, there's in fact there's steps up. There's steps up to the throne room. So you guys are peering over the steps, and you see her, and she's like, she points at him, at little Horst, and she beckons off in the darkness to the side, and she's like, "Come, my sweet, my love, my darling," and out of the darkness comes Bruno Fouts. And he comes out of the darkness, and she's like, "You will take my place. Oh, not my place. You'll take his place at my side as my lover and rule this little kingdom. And from here we shall spread the darkness across the world until the light of the empire is snuffed out." And she kind of gestures.
Is Helium here too?
Sorry, who?
Helium.
Helium. There's no sign of helium. But how did you do on your perception roll? You didn't do very well, did you? Oh, you got a 14.
Yeah,
you got a 14.
Well.
You
For
spot.
once, I know. Typically, I do poorly.
No, this is perfect because now's the time to do it. Because as he emerges from the darkness, you spot hanging from his belt like a cup, like a drinking cup that has been fashioned out of a skull. And as you look at it and you perceived so well, you are convinced, just as you were outside not convinced that any of those skulls were Helium skulls. That is the skull of your cousin Helium. You let out.
He owed me money.
You let out. It has Helium's lead tooth in it that you recognize from before.
I recognize that lead tooth anywhere.
Are we sure that didn't kill him? I don't think it's good to have a lead tooth.
Impossible.
In your head.
Could be that he was poisoned. He was extremely unwell. Let's just say that when he was murdered.
Look, we're ignorant.
As you let out this cry, you see Anna von Carstein whips her head round and spots you, and it's like, "Oh, fresh guests to see the ascension of my lover." And she gestures like this, and like you don't see it because it's from the front, but little Horst is like, and like blood starts to gush out of his throat where she's like slashed his throat across, and she's like, "Come, drink of the blood of the innocent, and take your rightful place at my side." And Bruno felt stride, in 2 strides, he's there, and he like swipes his hand across the throat and like licks the blood like this. And in front of you, a terrible transformation begins to occur like this. Something should, yes. Okay, everybody, take your D10. Roll your initiative. You know how it works. You're going to take this. You want to get the highest score you can and add it to your initiative bonus, which is the front number. Gil, your initiative is always really good. You usually go first. What did you roll?
5.
That's all right. So you got a 10.
Ooh. Okay, I rolled a 9.
I rolled a 9 as well.
Okay, very good. So 9 added to yours, Ross, is 3 is your initiative bonus.
So
that
12?
gives you a 12. And Phil, what's your initiative bonus?
Where is that?
That is the front of your... So it's 3. So you're on a 12 as well. Let's see how Anna and Bruno Faltz get on. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. So Anna, her initiative is... It's also pretty high. She's a nasty. She is an ancient... a vampire of great power. He did crap. He's transforming. Bruno is in the process of turning into a monster, and as a result, he's not going to go this turn. But first up, let's see who it's going to be between Lorenz. Yes, so Lorenz, you're up first, and guys, you rolled very well in your initiative, so nice job. Yes, as you're like no, and he transforms. Shit gets real.
As we're charging in, I hand my allies, since I've been whittling these stakes the whole time we're walking up. He told us we were going up slow. I had time to turn them into nice steaks.
Very good. Okay, so yeah, you have nice steaks, delicious steaks, and you also have your these are the best steaks. You have weapons, and you guys are ready to disco, I would say.
Okay, I think it's no innocence despoiled, and just I take it's the full like witchfinder cloak, like, and out comes the silver pistol.
This is a 5-shot repeater pistol. Remember,
ready to.
You've got 5 shots without having to reload, which is pretty cool.
Locked, loaded.
Okay, great. So he doesn't get any kind of bonuses. You don't get any particular bonuses yet. You're not at an advantage or anything like that. So fire away. So that is going to be your. We talked about this before. It's your ballistic skill. At a +10 because you had some preliminary pistol chat from Franziska Kessler, who was a dead shot. Thank
goodness! I just made it 26 on a 38.
Great. Okay, well done. So you hit. Who are you shooting at? That's a good question.
I'm shooting at Bruno.
Smart.
Okay, great.
Mid transform.
Yeah.
And he's in a weakened state.
Yeah. He is in a weakened state.
He's got
vulnerable. He's coming out of his monster chrysalis.
He is, yeah. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, his body is effectively a monster chrysalis, and so you drill him. What did you roll again? You rolled a
26 on a 38.
26. So that's a 62. I think I'm just kind of slightly guessing these things, but yes, you shoot him in the body, basically, like blam. You hit him real good. I forgot. Okay, we must remember this for next time. Well, actually, no, they're going to factor this in now. You're at a +20 to shoot as well, so you're at a +30 because you have this master-crafted, slightly magical pistol. Do you remember last time we said it almost pulled your hand onto the target?
Yeah.
So you're at a +30. So you succeeded by, I think that would be 4 success levels now.
Yeah, 4 success levels. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to add that to the weapon damage, which I think is a 9. So that's a 13. Blam. You drill him like right in the body, and then he's quite tough. So that's going to take some of the damage off. But you hit him pretty hard. And he lets out a scream that is half human and half like this terrifying roar. Let me just do some maths, which I'm extremely bad at. Done. Okay, so pow! You shoot him. It's an excellent start. The 2 guys holding little horsed sort of turn and tear and let go of him, and you see him fall forward onto his knees and like clutch his throat. He's still sort of alive in some way. Then it is the turn of Smilar Balloom.
Right, so
you're up next.
I went up to Bruno with the steak, and because I'm trying to finish this motherfucker off. Or like, I guess, what is her name? What is her title?
Anna the Gravine, Anna von
This Gravine fucker. I'm trying to finish this Gravine.
So you're going to go to her? Going to go after her?
No, I'm going to finish him.
Yes. Okay, great. Oh yeah, he fucks the Gravine. You're right. That's what she wants to do.
Yeah. I don't know their personal life, but
I think she was like, "You're going to be my love, my sweet, my whatever," and we all know vampires love banging.
Right.
They're mad for it, and who can blame them? It's a lot of fun. Yes. So you go and okay. So great. So give me a melee basic roll. That is what it will be, which should be on the kind of in your skills section of your sheet. I got it here. Yeah. So yours is 46. Now you're charging.
Do I get a benefit since this is a wooden stake and he is turning into a vampire?
Here's what your benefit is, right? And I'll explain this to you. Because I should have mentioned this to you earlier. So standard weapons will not work on these guys. If you hit them with just a regular sword, it won't really have much effect. Well, it'll have some effect on the vampires and things, but it will not kill them. Your wooden stake will kill them. So you don't get an advantage to attack, but you do get like benefits from he can't heal the wounds that you do to him automatically.
Okay.
So, but you're charging, so you're at a +10 to charge, and then you are so it's a +10 to your basic melee skill, or your weapon skill, which is 46. So you're trying to roll under 56. And if you succeed, you'll plunge the stake. Well, he's going to roll as well. He gets to roll his counterattack. And if you defeat him, if you roll better than him, you will do him some damage. If you don't, then he will like bat your stake away. Bat your stake away. Very nice. So yeah, roll that if you will, please.
I did a 57, guys.
He rolled a 66, which is not very good for him either. He missed his thing, so nothing happens. Basically, you swipe at him, he swipes away. Nothing really occurs. So he doesn't get any advantage against you next time. Then it is the turn of Marigold Branch Stepper.
Maybe I call upon the wisdom of Ralph to figure out what would be the best thing to do in this situation.
Yeah. So you place a hand on Ralph's flank. You feel his beating heart because, of course, you have ridden him up to into this room. Yeah.
Truly.
You feel Ralph. Oh, there's his flank. There's his mighty flank, and yeah, you feel you feel him coiled. You feel the muscle coiled beneath his flanks, ready to spring forward into the attack if you so choose. But you also remember a series of memories flood through your head. You think of that. You think of your charge against Bruno Tauber, but you also think back to just a few hours ago when you sprang up onto his back and started singing.
Oh, I can do that to counteract the evil song that is happening, and maybe I can weaken her evil spell.
I mean, possibly.
Or something else that Humphrey wants me to do.
No, listen. It's not about what I want you to do, Gil. The whole point of this game is that you have your own agency.
Well, what if I spring on? Would I have an advantage if I jump on Ralph's back? So I have a height advantage, and I get my silver shield with the pointy side out, and I charge Bruno.
Yes, you would have some advantages for that. You'd have a few advantages for that. You would also, I would say that speaking is traditionally in these sorts of games, speaking or singing in these sorts of games is traditionally a free action. It doesn't cost you.
Well, okay, how about as I charge, I sing?
How about it?
Yes.
So, Gil, here's what I want from you. I'm going to give you a complex series of rolls to pull off this maneuver. So first things first, give me a sing, entertain.
Okay. At a plus.
At a plus. Let's see. You've done it so many times now. You are a consummate entertainer, and I think you've gone far. So I'm going to say at a plus 30.
Great.
Nice.
Okay. Please work. Ha 15.
Yes.
Oh, it's a great song. It's not just one of your normal la la la.
It's not just
Bring
a
the
good
house down.
song.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It's the best song.
It's one of your all-time bangers that you've been working on for a while. You've kept in your
Miracle's greatest hits on.
It's a fucking bot, man. Time Life collection.
It
Alexa, not
fucking,
new CDs.
it fucking slaps. It's a
fucking
banger.
bop.
It's a floor filler. It's a bop and a half.
What a classic
And-
tune.
You spring onto Marigold's back. You
Massive.
brandish your shield. You brandish. I think you have a sword as well, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
You're
so.
standing on this thing, and
Yeah, I think she has a flaming hammer too, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah,
Yes, you
didn't I
picked
do
up the
some
hammer.
damage with that?
yeah, you can wield the hammer of Felix Heiligman. In fact, what could be more appropriate than taking vengeance on those that destroyed him? You have it, and you open your mouth, and yes, once again another beautiful melody issues forth, right? And there it is. Just at a shot below you is the donk. You're standing on the back of, sweet Ralph, and you instantaneously, yes, Lorenz and Smilar. Again, you feel this syrupy warmth just fill your body, Popeye style. It goes ding down to one arm, bang down to the other. You feel stronger, braver.
We're like
Less-
dance breathing, like in West Side Story.
Yes, less terrified than you once were. And up on the dais, up on the throne behind you, you see behind Anna, a transformation starts to overcome Eric von Stolzenberg, who's sitting there. You see him; he's kind of been sitting like with his head down, very King Theoden in the Two Towers. He's kind of like this, and he suddenly starts to look up at you. And the first thing you see, Marigold, you have great eyesight, as we know, like over the shoulder of Bruno Tauber. You see his eyes turn from like a milky, watery sort of grey to bright blue, like eyes that are so blue that even across a dark room, they almost seem to flash blue. And you see him see you for the first time. But anyway, let's get to the second half of your exciting maneuver, which is that you are
But enough
charging.
about the floor show.
But enough about the floor show.
Yeah.
It's time for the main event. Give me a ride roll at a plus 30. This
Okay.
is to see if sweet Ralph will lead you forward as well. He
Okay,
should.
right. At a plus 30 would get me to a 70, and I rolled a 39.
Very good. Okay, so you succeed. He instinctually, you
I don't
you're
need
standing
to
on his
tell
back.
Ralph what
you don't
to
need
do.
to tell Ralph anything.
No.
He races forward. And in fact, let's take his turn first, because he rears up and kicks his hooves into the
And we
face of
find
Bruno
out-
Tauber.
We find out that one of his ancestors was eaten by a vampire, so like he's charged up.
Yes.
In
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
is personal.
Yeah. Ralph rolled how do I angle this?
Oh, a
That way.
96.
A 96. Ralph
For
critically
once,
failed.
it didn't work.
He critically failed in his attempt to kick.
Oh well, that's all right.
what's his
I
name?
did so well that it doesn't matter.
Hold your horses, Gil.
My
Hold your
donkey, you
donkeys.
mean?
Hold your donkeys, because I have to see what
Hold your
happens.
donks.
No, no.
Because he
No,
fumbled.
no.
Hold your
I
donks and
think-
follow your anger boners.
Everyone, take grasp of your anger boners. Hold your donks, because I have to see what happened to. He fumbled. He made a mistake.
I think you made a mistake.
First of all, Gillian, how dare you?
Order! Order!
Order!
Highly
How dare
irregular.
you? Okay, okay. So here's what happens. I rolled on the oops table. He fumbled real bad. Critical fail for Ralph. I rolled a 10 on the oops table, so that gets this result. You capture part of your anatomy, lose 1 wound, ignoring toughness bonus or armor points. So I'm afraid that Ralph, as he reared up like this, he just sort of kicked himself in the face quite hard, and he's taken a wound. Ralph is bleeding. I mean, and that's not bad for morale. I don't know what is. But yes, Marigold, how did you get on?
Well, I abandoned Ralph then, I guess.
So you sprang off Ralph as he kicked himself. Yeah. Attempting to land a blow with your flaming hammer.
Yes.
Which, by the way, has not been a light the whole time, but as it gets closer to the evil, it like springs, the like flame has sprung up as you grasped it and got ready to hit them. So roll me a melee basic, please. You charged. He's already engaged by somebody else, so you're going to roll it at a +20.
Holding.
Okay.
Hold.
Hold. Okay, a +20 on a melee basic.
Yeah.
Haha! 27 against a 70.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Okay, so you succeeded by 5 levels. He failed. Marigold is very powerful. We should reiterate. She is, an old elf of no small renown. So, okay, so yeah, you succeeded by like 5 levels. You hit him 72. That's main chest. So you come and just wham, bring this hammer down on him. You do 13 damage, but his toughness takes some of that off. No, it goes to yeah. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, you just bury this hammer in this thing's chest, like boom. And I have to roll to see if it catches fire at all. Which it does not. He sees off the flames, his leathery skin, as he's transforming. Yes, then it is their turn. Anna von Stolzenberg.
Wait, so it didn't do anything?
No, it did something. You hurt him, but he like he's wounded, but he's not dead. He's like transforming in front of you into a big creature. And in fact, I will say that right now his transformation is complete, and he looks like this.
No!
Gillian.
No!
How no?
I hit him with a silver hammer.
You did. You did, and so he has taken wounds. He has many wounds. He's a big scare. Look at him. He's a nasty piece of work. He's a very nasty piece of work. Those are wings. He is like a big bat man. Like that is his vibe. He is a vampire, but he is what is known. In fact, everybody give me an intelligence roll at a +20, at a +30 because it is Hexensnacht.
I made it whatever it was. My intelligence is, I had to roll under 60. I rolled a 35.
Guess what? I rolled an 81.
Okay.
I made it.
Okay, so maybe these things are more well known amongst the men of the world. These horrors are described. This is a Vargulf. That is what this thing is called. A Vargulf, famed for their fury, their hunger, their destructive power. They are real nasty pieces of work, if you hadn't already guessed that. But here is Anna.
Should we try and talk to it?
Should we try and befriend it? My classic move?
Now could be the time. Who knows? It seems discombobulated because it's just been walloped with a hammer. It's just been shot. It's just been hit with an attempt was made to hit it with a war pick. But also it seems like it's a bit confused. It's like getting 2 different signals at the same time are competing in its brain. 2 songs. It's trying to dance to 2 different songs at the same time. And how could it resist that siren song, our own siren song? But Anna seems not distracted. She is a more powerful figure than him, and she is going to. What is she going to do? Let's see. She is going to concentrate on Smilar Balloon.
Oh
and
no!
she flies at you.
No!
Literally, she like across the room at high speed. And she is going to use her bonus attack because she's charged. Going to use her one advantage to try and bite you.
No!
Out come her fangs. So give me a melee basic roll, please. Just a flat roll. You're not at any advantage because you didn't get any advantage last time. And she's going to try and bite you. Ooh.
26.
Ooh, that was pretty good. Well done. Let's see what her thing is. Oh, but she succeeded by 2 success levels. And so she bites down on you.
No!
Like this. She like slams her bite into your shoulder. And she is going to do you some wounds. So it's your shoulder. You've got some armor on your you've got some chainmail. Her fangs just like punch through the chainmail with preternatural strength. And she's succeeded by 2, so that's 10. So against, we'll take 2 off your armor, so that's an 8. And then your toughness is... trying to do this as quickly as possible so we don't get bogged down too much mathematics. Your toughness is 4, so she does you... I got her down to 8 and then 4 wounds.
Okay, where are my hit points?
Your wounds are on the second page, I believe, and you've got loads because you're a beefy woodman, I think.
I was trying to find it earlier. Yeah.
So that was her bonus attack. Now she's going to do her regular attack with her claws. Has you like this, and then she tries to rake her claws down your back. So same again, another melee basic. She is at an advantage.
16
last time. 16, that's very good. Okay, so well done. So you might get an advantage against her if she fails in her attempt. She rolled a 77 against her weapon skill of 70.
Yes.
So she failed. So yes, you get an advantage. She tries to rake her claws down your back, and you kind of wriggle and like shove her off you, and she fails. Then it is the turn of Bruno Faltz. I'm going to say that he is so confused and discombobulated and in the process of transformation. He is unable to do anything right now. So then it's back to Lorenz. It is your turn again.
Okay, seeing this horror show, and I feel like it's probably hard for me to get a clear shot with all this hubbub going on around.
It's pretty difficult, yeah.
And the music. You're really enjoying the music, too.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like so entranced by this. You said there was a harpsichord nearby?
A broken harpsichord, yes.
Okay, tell me if this is too much to do in a single round. I want to run over there and like kick it onto its back and use it for cover while I take a shot at Anna.
Absolutely do that. That's no problem. That's your move action and the shove, and then you can fire off the shot. So we'll say that you've done it. Yeah, you run over. It like makes a satisfying.
I feel like it distracts her too, right? Because that's noisy.
That's a very good point, Phil. Maybe. But yeah, take your shot, please, Lorenz.
All right. This is a plus 30.
You're at plus 30. I think you're actually at a plus 40 because you have an advantage because you shot. No. I think I'll just stay at a plus 30. I don't think you should get an advantage on shooting.
After we butchered your werewolves last time.
Hell yeah, dog.
Dog, what happened?
Dog, how does an 8 sit bound? It would have been more impressive.
It's really hard. I know. I found it's very difficult to get it to line up in a way that looks interesting.
Just going to have to take my word for it that I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8. Okay, that's great. You rolled an 8 against what was your previous...
58.
8 against 58, so you succeeded by 5 levels, plus the 9 damage that comes from your pistol anyway. So that would make 14. So I have to remove her toughness. You're shooting her rather than Bruno, right?
That's right.
Yes, great. Okay, so her toughness is 4. So what did I just say? It was 9 plus 5, right? Yes, so 14. So minus 4. Yeah, so you shoot her for 10 wounds, which is very nice. And she is rocked by that. She lets out a furious scream, and she turns towards you, and suddenly, the illusion of a cold beauty that she previously possessed is gone. I mean, her mouth is just a mass of like misshapen fangs, like some sort of deep sea coelacanth type creature, and like her nose isn't there; it's like rotted away long ago, and you realize that her appearance is controlled by magic in a large way, and her concentration is broken. And suddenly, there is only one song that can be heard here. It is only the beautiful, honeyed, silver song of Marigold that can be heard by anyone. Yes, like a lathe that has broken and is rotating at too high of a speed. A beautiful song works its way into you. And Lorenz, you fire this, your gun is still smoking, and you look over to the side and you see, because there's movement up on the dais, Eric von Stolzenberg has stood up, and like he almost cracks as he stands up, like dust and filth that has been caked on him kind of breaks off. And you see him like kind of looking at himself for a moment like this and looking up, and he sees her, and he reaches down into like a pile of like filthy, bloody rags and like probably shit and all kinds of like horror, and shing out from it, he pulls out a sword.
Hell yes.
And he is restored in some way to the fight. Then, Smilar, it is your turn.
Great.
Has woken.
Here's my question. The war pick, it's made of silver, correct?
It is, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a swing at Anna. So, and here's my questions. Like, I'm jazzed because of this music. It's a
yes,
toe tap.
you are.
I also just deflected her attack, and she's distracted by like the shooting. I feel like I should get a pretty good advantage on this one.
Phil, you know what? You're absolutely right. You will be on several advantages. You have literal advantage from, which is given to you by the game from successfully fending her off last time. You gained an advantage because you were successful when she failed. She is in combat. No, she's only in combat with you, so you don't get a bonus from that. But she is distracted. She's turned away from you because she's been shot. So yeah, I'm going to say you'll get to do it at a plus 20.
Plus 20, okay. And this on my melee, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Melee basic plus 20.
Okay. Under 63. 20!
Very good. That's 4 success levels. So yeah, you spin the war pick in your hand. It comes arcing around. And I just need to double check how it works. Yes, it's your strength bonus plus 5. Which means it is... What is your strength bonus? I've got it here somewhere. Your strength bonus is 3. So you do 8 damage plus your success levels there. How many did you succeed by again?
Let's see. It was a 20, and I had to do under a 63.
Great. So that's 4 success levels.
I'm sorry, no, it's a 66. I'm sorry, it's 66.
That's great. So you succeeded by 4 success levels plus the 8 damage that you do. So that's 12. That's very nice. Now, also your pick has the impale quality, which means it ignores armor and this, that, and the other. So it's only her toughness bonus that I have to take off. Which is a 4. You did 12 and 4 is 8. Okay, yeah, you bring the pick down and you like it like punches like straight into her shoulder and into her dress, and again the kind of image of her almost flickers, and you see that the rags that she, the fine red velvet dress and like satin gloves she's wearing are like these filthy, disgusting rags.
It's like it goes like through her, and she's just like paused in the middle of the air, and
yes,
with her.
100%. Marigold, it's back to you.
She's not dead.
Dealing out some damage. She's not dead yet.
All right, then I gotta finish her off with the most
classic
effective
Marigold
thing I
style.
could do right now.
Which is
The hammer to her.
Maybe the shield.
Oh, you think the shield is more effective than the
could
hammer?
shield her.
Because the
Okay.
shield
Could shield.
burst into flames at 1.2, didn't it, Hum?
It did, yeah, yes. But actually the shield isn't on fire now, but it is silvered, so you know that it will do damage to her.
I look to Lorenz to see what's the more effective thing I could do.
I'm like over here, like, huh?
I
think Lorenz, because he's like got a lot of faith in these holy weapons, is like, use the shield of faith.
All right. I'll use the shield of faith.
Great. Okay, so give me a that's going to be a melee basic roll for you, Gil.
All right.
And because you succeeded last time, do you have any other big advantages?
Oh, my singing is quite effective.
It is. I'm going to say you're at a plus 20.
Great.
And she is straight up impaled right now, so that's got to count for something.
She is. So this is, are you going at Bruno or are you going at
No.
Anna?
Anna.
Okay, great. She is straight up impaled, so she's engaged. So actually you're at a plus 30. So because she's fighting with somebody else.
So I have to get under an 80.
Yes.
Okay, please. Well, guess what? I got a 30.
Yeah.
That is very good. Okay, excellent work. That is plus 5. So then your shield damage. Let me just check this again.
Don't forget it's silver.
It's your strength bonus plus 4. So that means your strength bonus, Gil, is I feel like you're quite strong, aren't you? Strength 3 plus 5, so it's 8. And you succeeded by you rolled a 30 under a 70, right? So that's 13 minus her thing. So Marigold brings the shield spinning round in a glittering arc. And having done this before, perfectly, you just take her head off.
I do.
Yes, with a single blow. Like her head tumbles into the air, and as it does, she like just turns to dust in front of all of you, and you feel like there's like a rush.
I was gonna
dark energy. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can maybe scoop up a handful of dust and eat it if you want to. I don't think it'll do you any good, but you can do it. And like the sort of dark wind and energy like rushes out through an arrow slit away and like disappears off into the darkness. Bruno Faltz, the giant thing, just roars in absolute fury and frustration and hurls himself at Marigold.
Oh no!
What the hell?
Yeah, he's not. His fate is not
his
necessarily.
Would like dissipate because.
No, so give me a melee. Basically, you can do that at a plus 20. I think you've got advantages to the tune of a plus 20. Good God, none of these guys will ever roll. I haven't barely done any damage to you guys this entire goddamn thing.
We really have run through your guys.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate them.
I just made it because you gave me a plus 20 as a 70 and I got rolled a 69.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. So you succeeded, so you're going to get another advantage. So we'll add that to your advantage for this next thing, because that was him charging you and trying to bite you. Now he's going to try and rake you with his claws, because I used his with no advantage. Come on, Big Bruno. So roll again. Gil, you're at a plus 30, so the chances of you losing this are minimal.
You're the best dungeon master. Because you just let us win. I love it.
Well, I'm not trying to, but that is honestly what you're supposed to have.
I made it again because I got a 74 and I was at an 80.
Okay,
Nice.
So you succeeded by 1 success level, but so did he. And because he is the attacker, that means he hits you. He doesn't get any particular advantage due to that. Furious Gil. I'm sorry, but yeah, he hits you and he rakes his claws down you.
Where?
Where? That's a good point. 35 onto your chest. Yes, you do have chainmail and metal trousers, as previously observed.
Oh, didn't she have the silver armor too?
I have chainmail.
You got a shield. You got shield and chainmail.
I got the armor.
I mean, God damn it.
The armor.
You got the top, I got the middle, she's got the bottom.
And your toughness. Okay, so here's what happens. Because you are so well armored, this huge bat monster with claws like sort of the size of bananas is like down your body. And you put your shield in the way and your chainmail's there. And some of it, he just about kind of gets through. And much like the other stupid Bruno Tauber who barely hurt you, he just gives you 2 wounds. Stupid Bruno Tauber. Stupid Bruno Faltz. All the dumb Brunos, they don't do anything. Useless. So then, give me 1 second. I'm going to say yes. Then, that's good to know. Okay, so I'm going to put him here. That's Graf Eric getting ready to join the fight. Then it's back to Lorenz.
Okay. I think my morale has really been buffed by seeing Marigold take Anna's head off. So I think Lorenz stands up from behind the harpsichord and is about to step over it, realizes he's too short, walks around it, and just levels the pistol at
and as you
Bruno.
As you do that, you hear a little plaintive voice be like, "Mr. Lorenz, please, Mr. Lorenz, will you help us?" And looking over, you see there's little Horst. He's still alive, but blood is soaking into his shirt. And there's a line across his throat where blood is coming out of him. What will you do?
I'm caught. Wait, can I not do both?
Well, I mean, listen, if you want to render any kind of healing assistance,
I've got to not take the shot.
That's going to be your turn. You don't have to take the shot right now. He might last a little bit longer. if it's any help at all, he goes, "Please tell me, Mum, I love her and I'm sorry. I'm gonna die." And as he cries, like blood starts coming out of his mouth.
I mean, okay. I mean,
Is he
Can
praying
I,
to Sigmar as he does this? Because that's important too.
I'm sorry.
Is he praying to Sigmar as he does this?
Yes.
Doesn't sound like okay. Oh, okay.
Please, Sigmar. Please, I've been a good fella, haven't I? I've been a good boy. I said me prayers.
Okay. I think. Okay. I scoot over to Little Horst, and let's say I like kind of
Gonna let
take.
this boy die.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I take my cloak off and press it down on his try to and just
Staunch the flow.
staunch the flow.
Okay, so
And-
you can give me a heal roll.
There we go.
And I'm going to say your heal roll is at a plus 20.
We're all gonna be dead if we don't get rid of Bruno.
And also, what's the fucking king doing here?
Eric,
Like,
he's waking up. He's in the
We've got another
process of,
guy joining the
coming back to
fight.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, but we usually kill them.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, he'll probably die soon.
Immediately.
Plus 20, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, huh. What is this? I think I just rolled a 10. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 10 with 2 0 or a 0 with, well, what is it?
Wait.
What does it say? Is it
No.
0 0 0?
100.
I think I
0,
rolled
0,
100. I rolled 100.
See, I knew it wasn't worth it.
So
Act
did I
press.
just? Well, in fairness, if I'd done that earlier, I would have missed the shot. So
You go to staunch the flow.
now I just strangle Horse.
You go to staunch the flow, and yes, you just press too hard. He's like, I think I'm not. And then you press a little too hard, and your thumbs go into the hole in his throat, and it's just like, and he's like, "Wah."
I
So
think.
yeah,
okay,
you murdered the child.
Great.
It's unfortunate.
So maybe
That's
may-
unfortunate. Very
It's a
unfortunate.
version of
Anyway,
where
never
it's
mind.
Just like
Well,
there is nothing. Yes,
no good deed goes unpunished.
The flesh must die that the spirit must. Shh.
Yeah, you put him out of his misery.
I healed him.
We kill everyone we come into contact
That is
with.
very unfortunate. Smilar, it's your turn. Would you like to kill Ralph?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I should probably just aim for the king. But so no, this is actually what I'm gonna do because I'm charged up. I impaled Anna, and
You
then
did.
Marigold just took her head off. And Bruno's reeling. So I actually take one of my stakes, because I made it out of the chair. Remember, I put it in my sling. Remember, I have a sling. That was one of my early weapons.
Okay, yes, you do.
Whirl it mightily and aim it directly at Bruno.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I love that. It's a difficult thing to do, to throw a wooden projectile like that and get it to land the right way on him. So you can do it, but you're just going to be at a plus 10. You would have been at more plus advantages because of all your successful fighting so far and all the various things.
All right, fine.
You can just do sling at plus 10. Oh, hell no, go on. Go on, it's more fun. Give it the fun go. Because if you miss, who cares? What's going to happen? He's not going to kill all of you, is he?
Is he? No, I'm going to do the war pick. Let's finish this guy off.
Oh.
All right, you're having fun. Let's do it. Let's fucking roll.
Yeah,
No guts,
Hit
no
it.
glory.
precisely.
What am I rolling on? A melee or the sling?
You're going to roll your sling. You should have ranged sling on the right-hand side.
So, and I have a plus how much?
plus 10.
I have plus 10, so I have to roll under a 70.
See, you're going to make that.
28. Bullseye.
You make it bullseye, indeed. From behind, aiming for the sort of center mass of his chest, you launch your stake, your projectile towards him, and it
My stake
thuds.
bullet.
Your stake bullet punches deep into his chest, and before your eyes, he explodes in a
Yes.
shower of dust.
That's for my cousin.
Yes, and as he falls to the floor, you see Helium's skull clatters onto the floor as well, and as it rolls over, you see the lead tooth sparkle, and it's almost like the skull winked at you. I mean, it didn't, because this isn't a cartoon. Perfect.
I see Lauren stands up and is like, bad news, Horst is dead. There was nothing we could have done.
It's like when you bury the priest and you can barely do it.
Right. So, Graf Eric is suddenly like aware of what's going on, and off to the sides you notice there's like a few guys in the blue and white with the kind of like smeared crosses on them, and all of them are doing very bad background artist work of like, I'm coming out of a dream. Like, it's like, okay, a bit less, guys, please. It's like, what? It's like I've been under the spell of like a vampire or something for a while, but I don't know what's going on. And Graf Eric is also doing that, but just like slightly better, because he's a better actor than them.
Wait, are they bullshitting, or they're just?
No. Sorry, I should say that they are accurately doing that. It's merely in the way that sometimes when you watch a big budget thing of this, if you really focus in on what any one of the people is doing, they're giving it some jumbo action. Yeah, as Phil just demonstrated. What? Whoa! The best is always anytime anyone's watching sport on TV. There's always people in the background being like, referee!
My favorite in sports is when like a person realizes they're on camera and then all of a sudden they do the biggest thing they could possibly think of in the moment.
That is exactly what is going on with the folk in the background. But Graf Eric steps down off his throne, and he takes you all in. He's like, I don't know entirely what has happened here, but I'm grateful to you. I thank you for freeing me from the spell under which I was placed. But I fear that it is too late for my people. And you see him, he goes down, he scoops up little Horst's body, and he like brushes the hair off his face, and he's like, it will take a long time to restore order to this valley. But to the three of you, I will be eternally grateful. You shall always receive a warm welcome here at Schloss Stolzenberg. Well, how long have I been under? What day is this?
Hexen's
And then he's like, whoa! And he looks into the camera, and like spooky kind of music starts playing, and that is the end of our adventure.
Yeah!
I was working in the lab late one
night. That's exactly what happens. He like, yes, he. In fact, he looks at you and he goes like, well, just to slightly recut that ending. He's like, Hexensnacht. That's weird. And then he looks over at all of the paintings of all his like forefathers that surround the castle room, but there's no one in the frames. And he's like, where have all the people from the paintings gone? And then you see coming into the hall a bunch of ghosts, like in the shapes of those people. And then, a sort of 60s spooky song starts playing, and they're like, and then that's the end of the event.
Bunch of groovy ghouls.
There's a bunch of groovy ghouls, exactly.
Right. And then the three of us look into camera and go, here we go again.
Yes, 100%. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking part in this adventure. You did great. We managed to keep.
What about Ralph?
What about Ralph?
He kicked himself in the face. He
did kick himself in the face, but he seems to be okay right now. He's peeing very noisily in the corner.
So as the credits roll on this, you see like Ralph munching clover in a meadow, and like.
Yes, we
like
do
receiving the bounty from the whatever authority sent us off on this.
Yeah,
it's like the end of Animal House, and like we're all 100%. Doing a number, and like you stop on people, say what happened, and it was like Ralph.
Yeah, we freeze frame on each of you. Marigold went on to defecate in front of almost every major governmental building in the Reichland. Lorenz von Eberhard, burnt holds the current world record for witches burnt. Smilar Balloon holds the world record for witches eaten, but he never did eat that strange beef. Then we see Ralph. He sired a historically large number of donkeys in a field. We see We see little Horst's body in a grate, just like a spade full of earth hits his face, and it's like he never did rest easy because his body was raised by a necromancer some years later. Now he stalks the streets of Schniestadt at night looking for children to eat. Yes, we cover everything, guys. This was so fun. Thank you all so much. I'm going to let you go. I've kept you a bit longer than usual, but we had a shorter one last week, so suck shit. This was so fun. Thank you for indulging my stupid Saturday morning entertainment. You three are the best. People at home, thank you. Please give a warm round of applause to our three heroes, Mr. Phil Walker, Mr. Ross Bryant, Ms. GILLIAN Jacobs. So fun. I'm going to stick around for a short while. If anyone wants to stay on and ask questions, I'll let these guys go. And then I'll tell you some more about what we got going on the stream. But yes, God bless you all. I love all three of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi. It's just me now. Now we've got rid of those squares, we can have the real fun time, right, everybody? I hope I will say, here's some business, whilst anyone thinks of anything they might want to ask me, which I hope producer Clint will throw up, if there are any questions, I don't know. Everybody, we talked about this last week. I don't know if this is your first time watching, but Gil has a movie out. Came out yesterday, a horror film called Come Play, which has got great reviews. Not just saying that because it's our old pal Gil, but by all accounts, it's real spooksome, and it's in actually in theatres if there is a theatre open near you, or it's in a lot of drive-in cinemas. You don't drive through cinema; that would be you have to drive very slowly. You go through a tunnel for 2.5 hours. So check it out, enjoy it, have a good time. Clancy Nacht asks, Humphrey, are you dressing up later for Hexensnacht? Well, no, I'm not, because I'm going to be trapped here in the house, I think. But I did dress up yesterday. So I work on a television program called Mythic Quest, and we have a character on it called C.W. Longbottom, who is played by F. Murray Abraham, who is an old fella. And yesterday, I'm going to swipe through some pictures for you. When they were shooting, I went to surprise and horrify my wife by, let's see if I can show you this effectively. I went to the makeup trailer and, oh no, wrong way. And I got a ball cap put on, and then it still went on, and they started ball capping me up, and then, gosh, this is difficult the other way around. There I am again. Oh, I can't do this. Anyway, then we went to this phase. Oh, yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. That is me dressed up as F. Murray Abraham. Here's me in the full, costume. And a good time was had by all. I went and surprised my extremely horrified wife, who also works on the show, she's the showrunner, on set by bounding in, pretending to be C.W. Longbottom. So that is the extent of my Halloween dress up. I love dressing up, but I am often too slow, too disorganized, too unable to do it. So yeah, that's pretty dressed up for me. A few years ago, Meg and I dressed as each other. Will I be doing more Warhammer? Well, that's really up to you guys, and it's up to Jared and Clint. I would love to do more Warhammer. It is for me strangely nerve-wracking and labor-intensive getting ready for these things, and I feel like there's plenty of things I would like to do better. I sometimes feel like I railroad people a little bit into doing too much stuff. My friend Sam, who is not into these games at all, but saw this because I tweeted about it, said he watched part of it and he was just scrubbing through the whole thing because he's like, what is this? How does this work? And he's like, it's just you talking the entire time. So I talk a lot, and I need to get better at not talking and encouraging the players to play more. So maybe I should do more sessions so people can get more into it. I do hold aspirations of running the Enemy Within campaign, which is the jumbo mega 7-book Warhammer OG campaign. This one was obviously made up by me and was extremely silly. In some ways, I love the idea of doing one a bit more seriously, but that would require about 100 sessions, and I don't know who is going to be interested in committing to 100 sessions worth of Warhammer with me. There you go. I would like more Warhammer. God bless you, Clancy. Very kind. Well, pals, is there... Oh, do I do an F. Murray Abraham voice? I do an F. Murray Abraham voice. That was the genesis. Part of the reason why I dressed up is that this season we have been socially, obviously, filming the show very socially distanced. And Murray, we've been keeping wrapped in cotton wool and masks and disinfectant and things. So I've been on set doing my not very good F. Murray Abraham impression, which sounds something like this. And so I've been reading in for him in scenes when it's not been his coverage. I don't know what that is. Hang on. And I am sorry, I just got a strange text message. So yeah, that was the origin of it. But there is the voice. Okay, pals. I think that's quite enough of this sort of nonsense. I'm sure most people have already fled. So let's get down to the end of show business. Guys, our very own stream of Hexen's Nacht continues at 6 p.m. Pacific time with the Neptune Society. Tune in for the new story arc, Dreams in Bedlam, with Becca Scott, Guy Branham, and Jackie Cashian for a mind-bending journey to the realms of the unreal. I've played with all of those people before, not necessarily on the stream. Jackie and Becca, I've only met during this. Guy and I have played together before. They are all fabulous. I'm sure that is going to be a thrilling installment of the Neptune Society, so tune in. There is no new episode of Vampires of Pittsburgh this Sunday. Instead, Vampires of Pittsburgh returns next week at its new time, 2 p.m. Pacific time. This is an excellent opportunity to catch up to events if you've fallen behind, but this is also going to be a perfect starting place for new viewers. So encourage people to tune in, encourage people to join the stream, get involved. Next Saturday, Blood and Glass returns, our Blades in the Dark crossover game with the fine folks of the Glass Cannon podcast. Join the Tin Whistles in their criminal ambitions in the sunless, ghost-haunted city of Doskvol. Now, just to change tack for a second, an excellent way to catch up is the Stream of Blood podcast. Twice weekly, we're posting episodes of Vampires of Pittsburgh from the very beginning of the Chronicle. And we'll be rolling out episodes of the Neptune Society and our other shows soon as well. Maybe, eventually, you can listen back to Something Wicked. I don't know. Please find it on whatever podcasting platform you use to get your podcasts. Subscribe, download, give us 5 stars. Okay, so people know we're doing cool stuff over here. It does genuinely really help, of course, because if, you know, especially when you're starting out with a podcast, if people are coming on and they don't see many reviews, they're like, oh, I don't know if anyone's listening to this or if it's any good. It also helps if you spread the word about Stream of Blood on your socials. So you can follow us on Twitter, subscribe for special emotes and other benefits on Twitch. We're on Instagram and Twitter as _ Stream of Blood _ and on Reddit at @Stream of Blood. I think all these things are going up in the corners. If you're on Discord, you can connect with us and other SOBs, the Stream of Blood's streams of blood, on our own newly hatched Discord, Stream of Blood's server of blood. We'll be posting official announcements, chats, and all manner of extra content. And you can always reliably reach us at our Facebook group, where we are spending a lot of money to get our message put in front of voters. We're not. Credits. It's time for the credits, baby. As ever, I mentioned him several times during the game. I think we owe a huge debt to Will Potoff for all his incredible work on all the artwork for Something Wicked. Check him out at willpotoff.com. That's Will, W-I-L-L, Potoff, P-O-T-T-O-R-F.com. And Ross Bryant at RossBB on Instagram. Special thanks go to our producers and partners, Brian Balding and Clinton Trucks, our social media manager, Megan Arch, and the Stream of Blood logo was created by Garrett Ross, and our opening animation is by Andrew Orvidal. That's it from me, gang. Thank you for following us on this very stupid adventure. Hopefully we'll do some more Warhammer one of these days. But in the immortal words of Sigmar himself, peace out!